A list of the top 10 things that I hope are in Halo Infinite, which was one of the video topics that I talked about in my last video. Go check it out, discussing my channel. But I wanted to see how my list stacks up against your guys' list. Keep in mind that this is in no particular order, and make sure you guys let me know what you hope to see in Halo Infinite in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like because it boosts my channel, blah blah blah. Subscribe if you're new, you guys know the drill. With all that aside, let's get into the list. So for my number 10 spot, I have something very simple. I would love to see an easier version of the Forge mode building controls. I have no idea how hard it is to build on PC, but on Xbox, the controls in Halo 5 were very hard for me personally to actually make anything good with. While I do think that Halo 5's Forge mode is the best version we've gotten in the franchise so far, and some of my favorite custom game maps have come from it, I would love to see a simplified control scheme to help the people who just want to hop onto Forge mode and have some fun building random stuff with their friends like the good old days of Halo Reach. Because I shouldn't have to learn the controls to put a Warthog down after not playing the game for a month. Coming in at my number 9 spot is better armor designs and customizations. Now, some of the armors in Halo 5 were just downright horrendous and made absolutely no sense. Not to mention that you could only change your headgear and then everything else was linked together except for the visor, which was a horrendous idea by the way. But the most infamous horrible armor design in arguably any Halo game to date would definitely be the Seeker armor. But I want to point and laugh at some of the other vile armor designs that 343 have added, like the Cyclops helmet that makes your character look like an armored grunt with a giant squished head, the Goblin headgear that turns you into Megamind, and even an armor piece that was recently added to MCC called Hammerhead that I saw a comment about that said it looked like a bad Bionicle in an Ubernick community post. Based on some of the designs that 343 have showed off for Halo Infinite, I think they've started to understand how important practicality is when designing new armors. My personal favorite being this Spartan with the Splinter Desert armor coating, and the shotgun shells on the thigh that I absolutely love. I would definitely be rocking this armor when the game comes out. At number 8, I wanted to include what I would argue is the real main villain of the franchise. I'm of course talking about the Flood. It has been 14 years since we have fought the Flood in a mainline Halo game, and with Halo Infinite taking place on Zeta Halo, there is no way they don't include him in the game, whether that be at launch or further down the road in a story DLC that they mentioned in their 10-year plan for the game. The inclusion of the Flood could also mean big things for custom games like Infected, and if they really step up their game with Forge mode, player-made Flood missions and firefight modes. I wanted to pause the video to let you guys know that a new mod released for the Master Chief Collection that adds a survival mode against the Flood like COD Zombies for Halo 3. It seems pretty cool, so I'll leave a link to the video for it in the description. Now, on with the video. Coming in at the number 7 spot is the inclusion of the Spirit of Fire and its crew from Halo Wars. I seriously think that this group could be the future of Halo when they decide that Chief has had a story completed, which I know is a haunting thought, but it can't be avoided forever. The chemistry between Jerome and Isabel is equal to classic Chief and Cortana, and they would be the perfect way to move the franchise back in time with the classic art style while also introducing new technology like the Colossus from Halo Wars 2, which leads directly into the number 6 spot. There are so many vehicles that were included in the Halo Wars games that I can only dream of seeing in an FPS game like the Grizzly, the Cobra, the Cyclops, and even some of the crazier vehicles from the Banished like the Blisterbacks and the Locust. How these vehicles would be balanced, I have no idea, but I seriously would give anything to see these usable in campaign and even a large multiplayer mode like Invasion, which I know is pushing it because it confirmed there would not be playable elites at launch, which I am a bit disappointed about, but I'm sure my list is full of things that will not happen in the game's life cycle, so I wanted to be open to all the possibilities regardless of how outlandish they might sound. At number 5, I actually think a Battle Royale could be very cool in Halo. Now, before you dislike this video and call me a fake Halo fan and say,
"Degenerates like you belong on a cross,"
I don't think that it should be the primarily supported mode like how it is in Cold War and Modern Warfare, but rather just be supported like every other multiplayer mode. I want you to imagine you are an ODST being dropped onto a simulated Halo ring from a UNSC frigate. You decide where you are going to land before your launch like Fallout 76's disaster of a BR, but worked in the lore like Halo 4's wargame simulations. You can explore foreigner structures and abandoned Banished camps, but the circle is closing in and the Flood have breached containment. The Sentinels have tried their best to quell the outbreak, but were unsuccessful in their attempt. Those who are killed by the circle would be infected and join the groups of Flood that patrol the borders, closing faster and faster to the Pelican extraction point. There are so many possibilities for a mode like this in Halo, and I would love to see in the comments what you guys think about this idea of mine for a mode like this in the game. For my number 4 spot, I want to see a larger mode than Big Team Battle in the game. That would be similar to Battlefield's Conquest or Grand Operations. I know we had Warzone in Halo 5, but Rec Packs destroyed that mode and made it very unfun to play against people who have either played the game for far longer than you or people who don't make wise financial decisions. Okay, that is my second time recording that line. I'm just gonna keep going. The player count was also poor for the hardware they had at the time. 12v12 is not impressive even for an Xbox 360 game. If they do add the last 2 game modes I've discussed, then they really do need to add more vehicles into the game that force people to work together, like the Falcon in Halo Reach or even the Pelican, instead of the single-seat killing machine Wasp. This would also be a great way to implement the loadout system from Halo 4's multiplayer without ruining the balancing of the core multiplayer experience. I would also like to address that I do think these larger modes outside of the normal multiplayer modes would need a bullet travel system, because getting cross-mapped by a hit-scan sniper would not be very fun. Have you guys ever realized how you never see anyone using weapons in Halo 5 to do things other than kill someone else? I want you to look at these 2 clips and tell me what the problem is here. The weapons in Halo 5 have no physics that impact the player, and with the addition of the advanced movement in the game, there is no learning curve because everyone is forced to play the exact same way. Just mantle over things because that's how all of the maps are designed to be played, forced to use these mechanics. Have you ever seen a clip of someone in Halo CE use a grenade to boost a weapon on the ground towards them? This was something that used to be very hard to pull off efficiently, but if it was mastered, could be extremely useful at the start of games to secure power weapons from the enemy team and was very cool to watch happen. But why does a game that is now 20 years old have a physics engine that is arguably more fun than a game that released 6 years ago? For the most part at least. This isn't just limited to multiplayer though. Even in campaign, I get more interaction loading up a group of Marine buddies in a Warthog hitting big jumps than I do commanding my group of Spartans in Halo 5's campaign. Initially I went off on a tangent writing this script, but I decided that I would make another video from the topic that I took out of this one. At number 2, I would like 343 to ditch Warzone Firefight for the normal firefight, but add more customization similar to Halo Reach's version. I think the recent Halo games have struggled to have a main third mode outside of campaign and multiplayer, and Spartan Ops and Warzone have not added much to any of the games. I would also like to say it's currently 4:47 in the morning, so if I sound tired during my final 2 points, I'm trying my best to rush this video out for you guys to watch on Tuesday, so please bear with me. And finally, at the number 1 spot, please bring back the Spectre. We all want it 343, so make it happen. I'm kidding. For my real number 1 spot, I think the game should end with the Warthog run. This is something that was very big for the original trilogy, and since Halo Infinite is supposed to be a spiritual reboot of Halo CE, it would be nice to see one of the most, dare I say, iconic moments in the history of gaming make a comeback in the franchise. Well guys, that was my list. I'm extremely tired, and I still have to finish editing this video, so please leave it a like, or better yet, subscribe with notifications because you guys are the reason I'll keep posting videos. Anyway, I did have a good time making this video, and I'm glad to be back on YouTube again. I'm gonna try to post every Tuesday, and if I can't get it on time, expect them on Wednesday. I'm gonna stop drawing this on because my brain can't focus on anything right now, so I'm just gonna end it with a goodbye. Or maybe a see you later, or how about a peace out my dudes. Or better yet, it's been your boy, Goonyak.